You may be thinking, but Shaq, Khabib versus Justin Gaethje, that is the fight for UFC 254 on Saturday, October 24th, and you are correct. However, Michael Chandler will serve as the official backup for that fight. What up, Fightful fam, and welcome to this very impromptu version of Fightful Fix on September 17th, a Thursday. I was not going to do one today. My hair's a mess, my face is scrubby, and thank goodness I had this black sweater to cover up the douchey tank top that I'm wearing, but something huge just happened. Now, before we get started with today's video, if you could please hit subscribe and tap the notification bell. That goes such a long way to helping this channel grow, and a like on this video never hurts either. Huge breaking news. Dana White announced on Thursday, SportsCenter, that the promotion has signed former three-time Bellator champion Michael Chandler to a UFC contract, and what's more, his first fight could be for the UFC lightweight title. You may be thinking, but Shaq, Khabib versus Justin Gaethje, that is the fight for UFC 254 on Saturday, October 24th, and you are correct. However, Michael Chandler will serve as the official backup for that fight. This is a truly unique, unprecedented situation. The only other time I can think of that a UFC debutant in recent memory fought for a title in his debut was Joe Soto versus TJ Dillashaw back, I think, in 2017, and those circumstances were different than this one. You'll recall it was supposed to be a rematch between TJ Dillashaw and Renan Barão. However, Barão had weight-cutting issues and was forced out of the fight at the final hour. Joe Soto was debuting on the same card at the same weight class and filled in for Renan Barão against TJ Dillashaw. This is a really interesting scenario. While, the outcome will be sort of the same, Chandler would serve as a late replacement for either Khabib or Justin Gaethje. It's different because the UFC is planning this way in advance. They have decided more than a month before the pay-per-view that this first-time UFC fighter, Michael Chandler, could fight for the UFC lightweight title. Now, the only thing that bums me about this is I was hoping if for some reason Justin Gaethje fell out of the fight, that Tony Ferguson would get the card up. He was supposed to fight Dustin Poirier on the same card. The UFC and Dustin could not reach a financial agreement. Everything else about it I think is phenomenal. It adds a really interesting new storyline to the already huge fight between Khabib versus Justin. And man, could you imagine if Michael Chandler comes in his very first UFC fight and becomes UFC lightweight champion? Not only is it a huge historical moment for him, but I think it gives Bellator an enormous rub to have their former champ go into the UFC in his debut, no less, and beat arguably one of the best fighters of all time in Khabib Nurmagomedov. And yes, that's actually how you pronounce Khabib's last name. Well, as well as I can, not being Dagestani. It was suspected for quite a while now that Dana White and Michael Chandler would reach some sort of agreement. The UFC was very impressed by Chandler. Dana White personally said he really liked the kid and was looking forward to giving him a chance in the promotion. Man, I don't know what to say. This is really cool. It's a huge story, and I'm happy that Chandler is getting the respect he deserves right out of the gate. I don't know if I was in the same position, if I would put him in the same spot. It definitely creates for more intrigue, more interest, and it immediately elevates Michael Chandler's status in the UFC. But I maintain that a great first fight for Michael Chandler would be against Paul Felder. I think it would really give you a good sense of where Chandler matches up with the rest of the UFC lightweights. It would be an all-action fight, and it would be a really important chance for Paul Felder to prove that he still has what it takes to make one final run for UFC gold. The only potential issue, look, there's no doubting that Chandler is a top caliber fighter. He's coming off of a first-round knockout over former UFC champion Benson Henderson. But in general, Benson Henderson I don't think would match up very well with today's lightweight elite. And I don't think you want to see Chandler go out there and face the absolute peak of the division, lose handedly, and then have his stock kind of fall like that. I think he could recover quickly with a good follow-up win. But I do think it's a dangerous proposition for Chandler. Eddie Alvarez is a former UFC lightweight champion coming from Bellator. However, in his first fight, if I'm not mistaken, he actually lost the decision to Donald Cowboy Cerrone. It takes time for these fighters coming from Bellator or ONE or PFL, wherever it may be, to sort of acclimatize to the uptick in difficulty in the UFC. It doesn't mean that they're not capable of performing at an elite level. It just means that there are adjustments that have to be made. Look at Justin Gaethje. He came in from World Series of Fighting as one of their premier stars, if not the premier star in that organization. He was losing to Michael Johnson before knocking him out, and despite making a good stretch, he lost to Eddie Alvarez early, he lost to Dustin Poirier early, and it was only after he made some really important changes to his preparation and his game planning that he became that elite fighter that many, including myself, believe will be Khabib's toughest test yet. There were rumors that Chandler could fight Tony Ferguson after Ferguson-Poirier fell through, but that no longer seems to be the case, and I do wonder where it puts Ferguson. He was supposed to fight Poirier. Poirier and the promotion could not come to agreement. What may have hurt Tony is that both publicly and privately he championed for Dustin Poirier to be paid whatever it is the Diamond wanted so that they could deliver this ultra-violent, high-action fight to the fans. The UFC doesn't really like it when fighters speak out on important issues like how much they deserve to be paid for being bloodied and beaten for a living. The promotion just kind of wants you to bend over and take it, and Dustin didn't do that. Dana White basically said Dustin Poirier just didn't want the fight. I think that's super silly. Since when is Dustin Poirier not a gamer? I'm getting a little off track here. I think if you wanted to put Chandler in this position, what they should have done is put up Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler on UFC 254. Then, if Justin Gaethje fell out, you could make Tony versus Khabib. And if Khabib fell out, you can make Michael Chandler versus Gaethje. The reason I say that is Khabib versus Tony is this cursed fight that we had spent years and years waiting for. I think they fell out like 7 times. And additionally, Justin Gaethje just dominated Tony Ferguson to become the interim lightweight champion, so you don't want to see those guys rematch. It's actually the exact same plan I had in mind when Tony and Dustin were matched up. You give Dustin to Gaethje, you give Tony to Khabib. Whether or not this is the best decision for Chandler or the promotion, you can't deny that it's exciting, it's intriguing, and it adds a whole new layer of storytelling to UFC 254. And that is all for today's video. Let me know in the comments section, do you think it's the right move to put Michael Chandler as the backup to Khabib versus Justin Gaethje at UFC 254? If not, what would you like to see for Chandler's debut? If you like this video, the best way you can help our channel grow is by hitting subscribe and tapping the notification bell, and a like on this video never hurts either. We've got lots of great content on the channel. Eddie Alvarez, John Finch, and others predicting Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley at UFC Vegas 11. Andrea Lee reacting to some hilarious trash talk from Roxanne Modafferi. So keep up with the channel for everything Fightful and oh so delightful.
Fightful!